which had severely affected cargo into Barbados for several weeks. At those talks last week, government agreed to rescind its option forms for the hundreds of customs officers to join the BRA. The Unity Workers Union, led by Caswell Franklin, which represents a minority of customs officers and customs guards, is not attending the talks, saying the Ministry of the Civil Service is the only body that can discuss conditions and service for government employees. And tension between the Barbados Revenue Authority and the Customs and Excise Department over the proposed merger into the BRA could soon be resolved. Word of this from Minister of Finance Chris Sinclair at the conclusion of a meeting which he chaired at government headquarters, which ended favorably. He says although there are still various issues to be addressed relating to appointments and positions within the Customs Department, he is confident they will soon be resolved.
Agenda to have those matters resolved as quickly as possible. We haven't set any specific dates, but we know that if we follow the law as it is in relating to appointments, you have to advertise positions, you have to interview people, you have to shortlist and then appoint. That will take some weeks to do, but everybody is charged to get it completed as quickly as possible.
In relation to the distribution of option forms, which have sparked the most tension in the matter, Mr. Sinclair assured the public they will still be handed out.
What we've decided with option forms is that we want to have this process started, and we agree that it will start almost immediately. Once we are clear on that, then we will make a determination as to the specific date in which option forms will go out, and there will be some revisions to the option forms as well.
As we told you earlier, representatives of both the National Union of Public Workers and the Barbados Workers Union were present. General Secretary of the BWU, Tony Moore, says talks are heading in the right direction. She, however, hopes parties can meet in the near future to finalize all of the outstanding matters.
A number of matters haven't been finalized, but there's certainly progress that has been made, recognized progress. There are issues that we are discussing that would take more than a meeting for us to reach a conclusion or agreement on. But I think that all parties should be in a position to report that progress has been made, and we anticipate that within the coming weeks we can have some agreement that is reasonable to all sides.
In other news now, repairs and upgrades to primary and nursery schools this summer are seeing a near 100% increase in expenditure this year. According to the Ministry of Education, Science, Technology and Innovation, it will spend close to $2 million to carry out repairs at public primary schools. This is as a result of government's agreed additional budget to the upkeep of these schools granted for the current financial year. The 24 primary schools at the core program that falls under the ministry include Bailey's Primary, St. Christopher and St. Mary's Primary. The refurbishment program will address a number of roofs requiring either change of sheeting or structures or both, and the repair or replacement of ceilings, floors, windows and doors. Additionally, there will be attention in certain instances to bathrooms, nutrition areas, electrical rewiring and to storage improvements. Well, amidst the tremendous success being reported from this year's Cropover Festival, one local entertainer believes the festival is too one-dimensional. This message from founder of the Richard Stout Teen Talent Competition, Richard Stout, at a press briefing for this year's competition. Mr. Stout believes Barbados has the talent to produce more international superstars, such as pop icon Rihanna, and he's calling on the National Cultural Foundation to facilitate this by broadening the scope of the nation's largest festival.
It would be nice if the NCF can say, well, look, Richard Stout, you send 16 of your better young people to be showcased in a private entity for the talent scouts who are looking for talent. And remember, Rihanna is not a Calypsonian. She sings the popular songs. So it leads me to ask, are we missing out on having an opportunity given to these young people to be seen by the right persons?
This year's Teen Talent Competition begins on August 16th and will feature up to 60 newcomers. The winner of the competition will receive $6,000 and a scholarship to attend the Barbados Community College. Mr. Stout also expressed gratitude for the financial support of both the public and private sectors in assisting this year's competition. He says, however, regardless of the financial conditions, economics should never hinder the development of the nation's youth.
The challenge I've taken up is to give these young people opportunities to make better of themselves. I don't manage people. I don't manage any of these kids. I help them. I don't believe in management. I believe in helping people. And because of our financial situation now, the more help people give to each other, the better it will be for all of us. I think people have become too selfish.
Police are hunting down 3 men who opened fire on a group of people in the vicinity of Pump It Up Sports Bar in Fords Road, Britons Hill, in the wee hours of yesterday morning. According to police reports, the incident occurred around 12:45 a.m. and 2 men sustained gunshot wounds. A 48-year-old man was shot in the chest. He was treated at hospital and discharged. Meanwhile, a 21-year-old man was shot in the head. He's in stable condition. All 3 people were rushed to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital this morning after being involved in an accident. It occurred at Stirling in St. Philip around 4 o'clock. All 3 people were traveling in one vehicle. The fire service responded to the incident with 2 tenders and 6 officers under the command of Station Officer Mervyn Mears. There's been a marginal increase in the unemployment rate in Barbados. The latest data released by the Barbados Statistical Service reveals unemployment for the first quarter of the year stood at 11.8%. That's a 0.3% increase over the last quarter of 2014. The comparison of the consecutive quarters also shows an increase in male unemployment from 10.8 to 12.1%, while for females, joblessness has declined from 12.2% to 11.6%. In the review period, January to March, the number of people employed totaled 127,900, of whom 64,900 were males and 63,000 were females. The total number of unemployed people stood at 17,200, including some 8,900 males and 8,200 females. The total labor force stood at 145,100. We'll have more news in just a moment, but first we want to get your take on this question. Do you believe more emphasis needs to be given to showcasing the talents of young people at Cropover? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the results for you at the end of the news.
Sharing everything is our style. No camera can capture our magic. But when a cold hits, my head is somewhere else. I need that cold out and life back in.
When a cold keeps you away, reach for Panadol Multi-Symptoms. Clinically proven ingredients for a total response to help clear your physical symptoms.
So I can be fully there for them.
Panadol Multi-Symptoms. When the cold is gone, life takes its place.
The summer parties are heating up, but Biko can cool you down with a great summer party special. A 4-liter Biko value pack, now only $34.99. Or grab the 1-liter size for just $11.99. So when the party gets hot, 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 cool down with Biko's summer party special. Available from participating retailers, Biko Mobilers, and the Biko Direct Outlet on Harbor Road.
This week on 18 Degrees North. The latest war on terror. Caribbean nationals heading to Iraq and Syria to fight for ISIS.
My ambition is to migrate to the Islamic State and live within the caliphate.
What life is really like for Trinidadians already living there.
It's really boring at times. You know, it's really cold.
On the next episode of 18 Degrees North.
Airing Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on CBC, with a repeat broadcast Sundays at 5:30 p.m. and brought to you by Rainforest Seafoods.
Make no mistake when you're looking for the #1 source of the latest business news in Barbados, the region, and beyond. It has to be The Bottom Line, produced and presented by me, Ryan Broom, every weekday morning on CBC's 94.7 FM at 7:50 a.m. It comes to you with the kind compliments of the Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union Limited, reminding you to save smart and borrow smarter. So remember, make it your business to tune into The Bottom Line, the best source for business news on the radio.
Come 2016, a film putting a Caribbean twist on the Shakespeare classic, A Midsummer Night's Dream, will be in theaters. It features a cast of about 104, including 10 Britons. I visited the cast and crew while they were on location at Fustic House in St. Lucie, shooting one of the daytime scenes. Melissa Simmons is one of 2 co-producers on the film, and she explains the idea behind it.
It's based on an idea that I had for the last few years. And Lynette and myself approached Shakira Bourne to take this idea and to adapt it. She's done a brilliant job. It's a very vibrant script, and well, you know, we're producing it, which means we've been casting it, raising the money to make it, pulling in the crew.
The other co-producer, Lynette Eastman, says viewers can expect to see everyday Bajan things in the film, like fish scaling and the steel donkey, for instance. She says these are some of the features that will make A Caribbean Dream different from the original version.
Essentially, what we're focusing on is highlighting some Barbadian traditions, using Barbadian language, and also highlighting, for example, 4-day morning, Cropover, because it is set where the couple is coming to Barbados during Cropover.
Melissa says what also makes the film unique is the collaboration that features throughout, from the cast and crew to the producers. Kirk Dawson is a gaffer on set, responsible for lighting. He worked on several productions before and explains what makes A Caribbean Dream so special.
This one is more of a magical realm. So in creating the lighting for it, you have to be a little bit more creative. In terms of mixing lighting. Robin, the DP, he likes to work with a lot of natural stuff, and he likes to mix the lighting in terms of daylight and 3200, or what we call tungsten lighting. So once we collaborated, then it becomes, we create what we say magic.
Another one of the crew members is makeup artist Mandy Cummings. As the film has an element of fantasy, she's responsible for creating the prosthetics the characters wear.
We had to paint our Titania completely pink. I had to make a prosthetic for Bottom, because our Bottom is a sheep, where in the original play he's a donkey. So we had to make a full sheep nose and ears, and all the application. Painting process, the sculpting, everything was at me. I painted the prosthetic so that it sits by itself and it looks right, but then once you put it on, you have to blend it into the person's face, blend all the edges, and you know, and then continue to paint up so that it matches, so that it looks like it's growing out of her face as opposed to stuck on it.
Shooting of the film wrapped up on July 31st and is now on to editing. Once all goes according to plan, A Caribbean Dream should be in theaters next year. The Regional Seismic Research Unit is reporting an earthquake with a magnitude of 3.2 struck Barbados yesterday afternoon. It says, however, there were no immediate reports of injuries or damage. The unit says the tremor occurred at around 3:26 p.m. It said the quake, the latest in a series to hit the island, was located at 142 kilometers northeast of the capital at latitude 13.90 degrees north and longitude 58.61 degrees west. It had a depth of 72 kilometers. The quake was 263 kilometers east of Castries, St. Lucia, and 285 east-southeast of Fort de France in Martinique. Do not demolish any buildings in Queen's Park. That advice from Barbados' ambassador to CARICOM, Robert Bobby Morris, who believes a facelift may be required instead. He is also calling for the park to be the site for the construction of a National Heroes Museum. Ambassador Morris made the suggestions during a recent Democratic Labour Party lunchtime lecture at DLP headquarters.
Build a museum to our national heroes in there, so that although you have the statues outside, inside you can build something that has interactive memory about their lives and what they did and so on, for our young people. So there will be a constant memory, which now does not exist. There will be a constant memory that children can come and go in there and have interactive exchanges with these great heroes of ours.
Still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. But first, a reminder that we want to hear from you on this question. Do you believe more emphasis needs to be given to showcasing talents of young people at Cropover? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the results for you at the end of the news. Now remember, you can also follow us on Twitter at CBC_Barbados and on our Facebook page, CBC News Barbados.
Grab the fork, get the hoe, link up the family and come let it go. Roll well, eat well, live well, right here in Bim. Yes! Roll well, eat well, live well, right here in Bim. No, we don't have to buy all imported stock, cause high nutrition in the food that we got. Plant something, start your own crop, grow something local to put in your pot. It's true, more healthy with the fresh produce, with high nutritional value. It costs less to grow and eat your own food, so gather the crew. Come! Roll well, eat well, live well, right here in Bim. Yes! Roll well, eat well, live well, right here in Bim.
Across the Caribbean is brought to you with the compliments of CIBC First Caribbean.
3 senior prison officers in Trinidad and Tobago have been suspended from all duties at the Port of Spain State Prison in relation to the July 24th jailbreak. The TNT Guardian reports that 2 officers with 33 years and over 20 years service respectively were given suspension letters on Monday evening in the presence of the Commissioner of Prisons Sterling Stewart and his deputy William Alexander. The 3rd guard was served yesterday. The trio will now have to await word from the Public Service Commission to find out if they will be entitled to a full salary, a salary cut, or no salary at all during their suspension leave. In Jamaica, Clarendon has recorded 70 murders for the year. Following the latest incident, police are searching for the gunman who shot and killed a vendor. 26-year-old Russell Harrison was at his stall in the Maypen bus park when men armed with guns walked up and opened fire around 3 yesterday afternoon. Harrison was reportedly shot several times and died on the spot. Police say Clarendon has now recorded 9 more murders when compared to the same period last year. The Jamaica Air Traffic Controllers Association says its members are frustrated over the delay in wage negotiations and are considering their options to press for a better offer. Association President Kurt Solomon says air traffic controllers feel they're being ignored and no urgency is being given to the wage negotiation by their employer, the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority. According to Solomon, the association has submitted a claim asking for a 30% wage increase, adjustments in allowances, and general improvements in work conditions. The Teachers Union says efforts to get the St. Vincent and the Grenadines government to pay public servants 1 month's salary in the absence of a wage increase since 2011 has nothing to do with the upcoming general elections. Union President Oswald Robinson hopes the rest of the public will not seek to link their call to anything related to the political environment in the country right now. Over the weekend, the union announced it had suspended talks with the government and would seek creative ways to ensure the state meets its demands for a 1-month tax-free salary payment to offset the non-payment of salary increases for the past 4 years.
Across the Caribbean, brought to you with the compliments of CIBC First Caribbean.
Sports.